Hey guys, welcome to Ham Radio with K0PIR and my YouTube channel. Last week I did a video on Log4OM, and this week we're going to integrate WSJTX with it. It's really very simple. And hey, if you haven't already, click on that subscribe button below. And if you want to be notified when I put out a new video, ring that bell. Okay, I've got an article on my website, www.k0pir.us, and you can look up the first post that was on Log4OM, downloading and installing it. And in this post, we're going to install WSJTX and get it going with Log4OM. So the first thing I need to do is upgrade my WSJTX, and I'm going to click in the field down there, type in add. I'm going to go to add and remove programs, and then in this field here we're going to type in WSJT, and I've got it right there. I'm going to remove this or uninstall it, and then we're going to install the new version. This is 2.2.1. Click uninstall and install again. Done, click close. So now we don't have a WSJTX in there. So we can close that up, and from my website you can find the download link, and that's right here. Takes us to the WSJTX page. We're going to go down and find the latest version. For Windows, it's right here, and we want the 64-bit. And if you're unsure whether you want the 32 or the 64, click on your folder, File Explorer. Came up on my other screen. I'll bring it over here, and then from here go to this PC, right click on it, and go to Properties, and it brings up your computer properties, and we're looking for the system type 64-bit. So that's what I want. Close that off, and then download the 64-bit one, version 2.2.2, and I am using Chrome. Downloads right here. Click on that and go to open. When done, it looks like it's done. I've got the radio on in the background. There it is. Click next. I agree. A desktop icon. Click next again. Putting it back in that same folder that I had the other one in. That's the default location. Click install. Okay, now we've got it installed, and I'm not going to run it right now. There's one or two things I want to do with Log4OM. Click finish. Okay, I wanted to open my pointer focus, and in my last video we set up Log4OM, and this is 2, Log4OM 2. There's a 1 and 2, and I think 2 is the best one. It's the latest one that they've been working on. Let's go to Settings, and then Program Configuration. Left click button, and I'm going to go down to Connections. On the UDP, we need to enter this. This gives it the port for WSJTX, and to add this in there, simply put the port in here, 2237. Connection type, that's that name right there. And then the service type is JT message. And click on the plus right here. And there it is. That's the one that I added. Now I don't need that one, so I'm going to highlight it. So that's what you want in the UDP inbound connections. That's the only thing you need to add. WSJTX default port 2237. Okay, and after that we want to go down to applications and WSJTX JTDX and check this off, import the QSO. And we'll click save and apply. Alright, and now I'm using the Icom 7610, and in my last video I set up Omnirig for the IC 7610, and since we're going to be using it for data, I want to change that. So I'm going to open up Omnirig settings, this icon right up here, Omnirig, and I changed the rig type to IC 7610 data. That was the only change I made. So your radio may have one that says data, it may not, and if it does, you want to use the data for the rig type, and that was the one I was using before. This is what we want now. This is my USB cable, and the baud rate's 115.2. I have screen captures on my website for the 7610 and the 7300. Let's take a look at the 7300. Does that have a data? I haven't used it. I'm going to be using it this weekend. If I could find it. There it is. Yep, 7300 has a data. Okay, well I'm going to go ahead and RTS is low, DTR is low, and polling is 100. I think that's the default. 100 milliseconds. So I don't need to save it. I'll click cancel there. So now I'm set up with Log4 the old man. I need to set up WSJTX. So let me open that up. And just type it in here. Okay, now I've got WSJTX open and it's version 2.2.2. That's the one just installed. And you'll see, even though I uninstalled the previous version, it will still have my information in it. So I'll go to File and Settings. Take a look at this. Still got my call sign in there. On this tab, a lot of this is the default, but I double click on call sets transmit enable, and I also checked off allow transmit frequency changes while transmitting, and calling CQ forces call first. I've just been trying that one out. On the radio tab, to get it working with Log4 the old man, we want to choose for the rig Omnirig rig 1. And we don't have to set anything in here. You can see this is grayed out. Push to talk method is CAT. The mode, data packet, like the radio dial. And then split operation, I use fake it. We can click on test CAT. Should turn green. Test push to talk. Keys the radio. Doesn't put out any power, but it keys the radio. Go to the audio tab. I'm using the USB audio codec, and that's what you'll be using. Yours won't say this. Probably I custom it. And this is all the default. Transmit macros. Add a few in here. I added this one, wait your turn, because I've had a lot of people calling me all at the same time, and if I want to take the time, I can just use this one, and maybe people will back off and wait until the QSO's done. I have some more information on that. on that web page you're looking at. The reporting tab prompt me to log the QSO, and I've got enable PSK reporter spotting. UDP server, that's that port that we put into Log4 the old man, and all of these checked over here. Don't need this checked. Frequency, nothing new on there. Colors, went ahead and enabled all of them. Advanced, nothing new in here. If you're going to be in one of these contests, you can use this, and it works really well. I used it for field day. And then we'll just go ahead and click OK. Now I think we're ready to go. We're receiving stations. I'm on 40 meters, and you can hear the radio in the background. So we're going to do a little bit of operating, and I'll show you how it logs into Log4OM, or Log4 the old man. But before we do it, let's go back to the website and the web page. Got some screen captures. Now using that data for the Icom 7610, Omnirig will use USB-D2. And I went in and edited one of my files for Omnirig and got it to use D1, but you won't, if you're using the one that comes with it, then if you're using that file that comes with it, it'll come up as D2, because we have the mode in WSJT-X Settings, the data packet. So my radio is USB-D2, and for that to work, you have to look at the mod input, modulation input. Data 2 mod needs to be set to USB. That's for the 7610. Your radio will probably be different. 7300 shouldn't have any issues. Doesn't have a data 2 modulation. So go down here and we're going to look at the Omnirig settings again. And then in Log4 the old man software, got a screen capture of the UDP page in there, the settings. Installed it, went through these tabs in WSJTX, real important ones here. And then this is the last thing about operating. I went and looked up some information on it, and it's not real good practice to call somebody when they're in a QSO, even if you're calling them off the frequency. So you really should just wait until QSO's ended. And there's information down here on that. Put the video in this post. Little information on supporting Log4 the old man. And then this week I'm going to be out of town in the Black Hills National Forest, and I'll be operating FT8 and other modes out there. So look for me on the air. You might see me on the DX cluster. And if you do hear me, if you want to, go ahead and spot me. That'll give me the chance to make more contacts. So let's go back to WSJTX. And let's see, we've got just a couple in there. Well, that's just one guy here. I'm on 40 meters, and it doesn't look too promising here. There's some CW. And that reminds me, in Log4 the old man, I'm using the 7610. I'm going to go to settings and program configuration. And here's a tip for you. The cat interface here. This is where we have Omnirig set up for the cat, and then invert the CW, because if you don't do that, double click on the CW, it'll go to CW-R, and it'll be reversed. So go ahead and check that off, and then you'll be set. Double click on the CW, it puts it in CW mode. Okay, let's go back to WSJTX and make a contact. Alright, not a lot going on here. So let's go over to Over to 20 meters. I bet there's a lot going over there. Yeah, look at all that. Change antennas. And my radio, I have the noise blinker off. I'm turning it off right now. Noise reduction off. And the AGC on fast. 7610 I use fast, and on 7300 sometimes I just turn it off. When you turn it off, you have to ride that RF gain, because a strong signal may just blow you out. Oh look, there's some stations in here. Let me check my power output. Okay, I'm going to put it on 50%. We'll see what we can get. Double click on this one. And I'm calling him. I hope you can hear that. Start a QSO, you find somebody calling CQ. Double click on it. It'll automatically start the transmission for you. Got call first enabled here. Holding my transmit frequency. Bring up the Y graph. I'm way down here. Okay, he's going to be off the back of my beat. I'll give it 3 times, and if he doesn't respond after 3 times, he's over here. Doesn't respond after 3 times, then I'm going to try somebody else. There's a station. And I see somebody in there where I'm transmitting, so I'm going to move over just a hair. For me to move the transmit bar, I'm going to hold down the shift key and left click. That leaves the green receive in the same location. Oh boy, I called him a bunch of extra times. The halt it. See, he's over here in this heavy. Oh, yeah. Somebody calling me. When somebody calls me, I just double click on it. And he's way over here. I have some other videos on the Y graph and setting it up. Some other information on output power on my website. Just go to my website and search for WSJT-X. That will bring up the articles on that. And one's on receive settings. I'm a -12. That's real good. It'll prompt me to log the QSO. Watts in there. I'm at 50 right now. I was on 80 meters, 100 watts. The conditions were tough. But I got the report sent, the report received, and down here I'm retaining this information. I'm not on the DX antenna right now. I'm on my B, so I better change that. And I'm on my 7610. So when I click this, it's going to log into log4 the old man. Goes. Look over here. There, it just popped up. WA4VOC. Name's in there. And we've got the signal report right. We've got the mode right. Over here. Band right. Everything's right. So Omnirig will allow 2 programs to use the same port. Kind of nice. You don't need another cable. Or you don't need to use any, like a splitter. Let's go over here to main. Let me show you. That's what I like about this program. When it puts the call sign in there, it brings up the name. Of course, I've got it in the settings to look up this call sign using QRZ. And I'll do more on that later. Show you all the settings that I have in here. But it's got the map, and he's right outside of Louisville. I'm going to use the dial on my mouse, zoom out, and a little bit more. There. So that's it. We can get a little bit closer. See where he is. Right in there. Uh-oh. We're out. Well, he's right in there. 874 miles away. Kind of nice. Got the cluster going over here. Look at all these people. There's some FT4 stations. I'll have another video on all of my settings in Log4 the Old Man and cluster. Propagation is really neat. Love the propagation in this. Propagation forecasting. And a few other things in here. So that about does it for WSJTX. Both of these programs are free. You can donate and give a little bit of money to the author of Log4 the Old Man. They did a lot of work on that, and I'm going to donate some money to them. I've got a link on my webpage. So hey, if you haven't already, click on that subscribe button below, and if you want to be notified when I put out a new video, ring that bell. Please visit my website, www.k0pir.us. Stay safe out there. Best 73 and good DX.